are your thoughts on running for re-election in 2026?
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026?
That's
Ain't nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering.
America!
Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to This Week in DUMBmocracy, where we showcase some of the dumbest news of the week, and sometimes the dumbest newsmakers of the week, but we really can't say that this time because this is more sad than it is dumb. And I'm talking about the most recent freezing by Mitch McConnell in an interview with the press. It's sad to see, and it's become sort of an epidemic in the Senate where we have, for lack of a better term, malfunctioning senators. But before we get to all the really sad examples, be sure to like, comment, share the show with your friends, all that good stuff, and please subscribe to the channel. And while you're here, also check out all the merchandise we have available below the video, under our store tab for the channel, or at shop.buffoonoftheweek.com. You may notice we added some merchandise from Less Government, More Fun, a great company, featuring a really great shirt that's such a conversation starter. There's a lot of different things available, mugs, footwear, shirts, hoodies. Check them all out, shop.buffoonoftheweek.com. So we're going to get into this latest occurrence with Mitch McConnell. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, and we're going to talk about this in a broader sense as well. He's not the only one that seems to be going through life issues, and we're going to talk about it in the context of what it means for the country, and let's have a little bit of a debate, sort of an internal debate, about what's causing this and what should be done about it.
Senator, you're up for election in 3 short years. What are your thoughts on it?
I'm sorry, I had a hard time hearing you.
That's okay. What are your thoughts on running for re-election in 2026?
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026?
That's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator. Benny.
Man.
okay.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
Yeah, I don't like seeing that. I don't think that this is something you should make fun of, regardless of who it is, whether it be Republican, Democrat. It just makes me think about, those in our lives who are getting on in their years, in their golden years, and this could be us one day. This could be me one day. But Mitch McConnell is in a position of power, has been for many years, and these sorts of episodes have ramifications for the country. And this isn't the first time that this has happened to him. You may remember this from a few months ago in the Senate itself.
Path to finishing the NDA this week has been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
It's hard to watch.
Are you good, Mitch?
Okay, Mitch. Anything else you want to say, or should we just go back to your office? Do you want to say anything else to the press? Go back.
Go ahead, John.
I'll take it back. Let's go back to you.
Go ahead, John.
It's just hard to see, this was once a titan of the Senate. And I just don't get it. Is there no one in his life that is telling him that, maybe it might be time to stop? Now, on the other side of the aisle, we have Dianne Feinstein, who's been going through her own medical challenges and returned to the Senate back in late July of this year. And it appears that whatever she's going through, whether it be physical ailment, mental, emotional, whatever it is, it's an impediment to her doing her job as well.
Note the presence of a quorum. We will now vote to report the Defense Appropriations Bill favorably, subject to amendment. The clerk will call the roll.
Senator Feinstein.
You say aye.
Pardon me?
Aye.
Yeah.
Just say aye.
I would like to support a yes vote on.
Now, it sounds like her handler is telling her, just say aye. It's just a vote. Just say aye. But she may not be aware that that's what she's there for. I don't know. I'm not her doctor. I have no inside information, and I'm not willing to speculate. But just from outward appearances, just by observing, I'm not entirely sure if she knows where she is. And it's a shame. It's just a shame.
This. It provides $823 billion. That's an increase of $26 billion for the Department of Defense. And it funds priorities submitted.
Yeah, just say aye.
Okay, just
Great.
aye.
Thank you.
Senator Durbin.
Now, it's a moment that you can possibly laugh off as that she wasn't aware what was going on, and I can go along with that. But then there's this clip of a reporter asking Senator Feinstein about how it is to return to the Senate, and she acts like she never left.
What has the response from your colleagues been like? What have the well wishes? What have you heard?
What have I heard about what?
About your return. How have they felt about you
No,
returning?
I haven't been gone.
Okay.
You should follow me. I haven't been gone. I've been working.
You've been working from home, is what you're saying?
No, I've been here. I've been voting. Please, either know or don't know.
I'll give her this. She's still feisty, and that's good to see. But no, Senator, you weren't there. And now you're wheelchair bound, and apparently you thought that you were still in the Senate. Again, I'm not saying that she's incompetent. I'm saying that she's old and maybe she's not there anymore. I don't know. That's kind of the point. I don't know. And the people around her who do know, they're the ones I'm mad at. The people around Mitch McConnell, they're the ones I'm mad at too. The ones around Senator Feinstein and are, for lack of a better term, and this is vulgar to say, carting her into the Senate to do their bidding, those are the people I'm mad about. And I'm also mad about the people surrounding Senator Fetterman of Pennsylvania. Again, it's not about policy positions or anything like that. Reasonable people can disagree about that. I'm talking about the people around who are supposed to care about him and are failing him. And I'm talking about on a level of just being a freaking human being. Look at what he's been doing in the Senate, and you tell me if this is doing him a service. Now, this is a clip from May of this year in the Senate Banking Committee having testimony from ex-CEOs of failed banks. Remember Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank? Remember that whole issue we had in the late spring, early summer? Well, Senator Fetterman is on that committee, and he, of course, being a senator, he's entitled to ask questions of the witnesses.
Is it staggering? Is it a staggering responsibility that the head of a bank could literally crash our economy? It's astonishing. That's like if you have, I mean, like, and they also realize is that now they have a guaranteed way to be saved by how, you know. So it's you know, isn't it appropriate that this kind of control should be more stricter?
Now, we all should remember Senator Fetterman did have a stroke, but this is how he's serving his constituency of Pennsylvania. I know he's struggling, and I know he's trying his best to do his job, but could you really glean anything from that question? I don't think the witnesses did.
Or should we just go on and start bailing and sailing whoever bank, regardless of how their conduct is? You know, I'll give you an example. The Republicans want to give a work requirement for SNAP. You know, for a hungry family has to have this kind of penalties or some kinds of working required. Shouldn't you have a working requirement after we sell your bank with billions of your bank? Because they seem to be more preoccupied than SNAP and requirements for works for hungry people, but not about protecting the taxpayers, that will bail no matter whatever does about a bank to crash it.
What?
Chair?
Thank you, Senator Fetterman. I didn't see an eagerness on the panel to answer your questions. Thank you.
I think it's because they couldn't understand what Senator Fetterman's question was. Okay. Now, believe it or not, Senator Fetterman is actually the chair of a committee in the Senate. He has to conduct these meetings and he has to run and keep order. Obviously, he's going to have a lot of help doing it. But again, listen to Senator Fetterman, and you tell me if this is someone that should be enduring the stresses and strains of being a U.S. senator. And then ask yourself, why are the people around him making him go through this?
Hunger is not a Republican or a Democrat issue. It's all of our issue that we have to take it on.
Okay.
We need to come together and stop playing political games with Americans' access to food. Americans like about Corey Jor from the town of Northeast in Pennsylvania tells me that his victim was skimming, which was when somebody stole money and he relied from its SNAP EBT.
Okay, I think I get what he's saying, but this is the U.S. Senate. I shouldn't have to get what you're saying. I should understand completely what you're saying. Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. Now, I'm not looking to make light of whatever challenges these three are going through. I don't know what they're going through. I don't presume to know what they're going through. But I do know that we have serious issues to deal with in government. And these three are just not equipped to deal with those issues. The question becomes, who's the buffoon here? Is it these three people? Or is it the people around them that are helping them and enabling them, in a sense, to keep them in the positions of power that they're in? It's something that I talk about tangentially in my book, Schnooks, Crooks, Liars, and Scoundrels, a field guide to identifying political buffoons, available right now on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble, and other online bookstores. I talk about this idea of the egotist, the ambitious buffoon, Buffoonicus ambitious. Typically, these buffoons internally themselves have an exaggerated sense of self-importance. That might be at play here when we see senators who are in positions of power who believe that they may be indispensable, that they have to be there in the mix of it all, in the room where it happens, so to speak, in the Senate. They have to be there, otherwise things won't get done. Now, this may apply more to McConnell and Feinstein because they've been there forever. They're the power brokers in the Senate who have a lot of seniority, a lot of sway, a lot of influence, a huge network of people. So maybe they see themselves as indispensable for what has to get done. And let's face it, to be a senator, you have to have some skill and talent to have gotten there and to climbed up the political ladder. So there is an element of intelligence and cunning, a combination of the two that all of these people possess. But has it gotten to the point where they're outsmarting themselves and they're not as clever as they think they are, given their particular circumstances? If that is indeed the case, we may be looking at something beyond narcissism, but delusion. A need to stay in power, to hold on to that power for all it's worth. Now, I'm also willing to give some grace here to them and say that it's not their fault, but the people around them who are the real ambitious buffoons here. They may be using them as figureheads to perpetuate the power and influence that has come into the office that they hold, and by extension to the party that they represent. And that might be on an individual basis or a collective basis. Individual meaning for that office and those staffers themselves who wield the power and influence that is granted to them by working for their boss, or it may be something collective where the party needs that person to remain in position in order to maintain the collective power that the party currently holds. Or it may also be a case where Mitch McConnell, John Fetterman, and Dianne Feinstein are just lying to themselves, that they think that they are okay, that they're doing just fine, and they're going to keep doing it until they can't. I've seen this with relatives myself. I remember my grandfather, well into his 80s, driving his car, getting into fender benders, and we would have to deal with it as a family. And then there was that moment of taking his keys away, and he sort of shrunk as a person. And, well, we all know what happens to our loved ones. Maybe the job is what's keeping them going, in which case it becomes so much of a tougher issue to deal with, because they really shouldn't be doing this job, in my opinion. I don't know where the buffoonery lies here, but I do know that it doesn't do them a service to keep trotting them out there into the public spotlight as they are currently. It doesn't do their constituents a service, and it doesn't do the nation a service. And I hope and I pray that the people around them, the people that love them, can step in and say, that's enough for now. So that's going to do it for this video. I'm sorry to end it on such a downer. But on the plus side, Labor Day is coming. We're going to be taking Monday off next week for Labor Day, so there won't be a video on Monday. I really want to thank you guys for tuning into the channel and going on this ride with me. Sometimes it's cool and fun and we have a good time. Sometimes it's stern and serious like this. But in any event, I hope that you continue to like, comment, share the show with your friends, all that good stuff. Please subscribe to the channel. I need you guys to do that so we can keep having more of these discussions, whether they are comfortable or uncomfortable, that's discussing all the shenanigans and buffoonery that's going on this week in DUMBmocracy.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.